Right, so what we have here is the final prep for competitive round, and the first pro move was for getting a glove. It's hot in Malaysia. It's 36 degrees Celsius, so hanging on to that club was a bit of a challenge for the session, but I persevered because I needed to get the practice in. So you see, I hit a couple of sand wedges to the front green, just a couple of flip wedges just to build the confidence. Aimed the green on the right hand side. You'll see it's just a sort of 50-60 meter flick. What I mean by flick is that the arms aren't really working too hard. We're not making a full swing. We're just letting the club accelerate through the ball. So the arms are not really into a full follow through. We're just accelerating through the hip zone with a bit of hip turn, and the ball jumps out 50-60 meters. If your weight's on the left leg and you're playing with a narrow stance, it just jumps. So this is a pitching wedge. Carry to the blue flag on that back green, which is 78 meters, I think. Blue flag right green, again, say 5 to 8 meters approximately. Again, not a full hard swing, it's just a soft pitching wedge. We're just trying to hit the green from there. We're not trying to hit a personal best. Alright, first full swing of the afternoon, get down the line, looking at that middle green out there. Carry distance on this pitching wedge was 126 meters. So just onto that back yellow flag there, just to the right of the bunker that you can see in front of me there. And again, I quite like what the swing's looking like right now. I mean, I'm always checking on things. I've been playing this game for 30 years and I'm still trying to figure some stuff out. So, you know, I like the posture. I like the posture's nice and strong, but what I love the most is the length of the backswing, especially with the wedges. You know, I'm not trying to hit the ball too hard. Contact is everything with these wedges. And there's a famous quote that goes, "Show me a man who makes a full swing with a wedge, and I want to play against him." So basically that answers any questions you may have about how hard should you be hitting your wedges. Not very hard is the answer. So yeah, now we moved into a 7 iron, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, just a nice full swing to the back blue pin. I was just trying to hit a nice gentle fade into that back blue pin of the center green. So that's approximately 140 carry, so I'm just floating one in there with a 7 iron. Again, starting ball flight's pretty good, starting just left of that target and then cutting into that back right blue pin. It's kind of on line with the red roofed house. As you can see at the end of the fairway there. So yeah, again, not a very hard swing at all, just working as hard as I possibly can. That swing is maybe 60% of full effort. Nice high hands follow through to encourage the fade. I'm trying to hit a bit more fade in my own game. The fade flight is easier to control. Especially with the irons. Draw is generally longer for the amateur game. When speeds get a bit higher, then that changes somewhat. But you know, the 7 iron is a lot more easy to hit, and it's a lot easier to get the ball to stop on the green with a fade. All right, we've moved into 5 wood. This is my practice bag. So I didn't have my clubs as well. I didn't have my gamer set with me, so I've got a 5 wood over here. This is a Callaway steelhead, and it's, I don't know, 20 years old, and I caved its face in, so it's giving me some strange ball flights, but this is purely just to loosen up and get ready for the next day. And it was just nice to feel a nice smooth swing with the 5 wood. Good contact, catching the middle of the club, even though it's caved, it was still, you know, felt pretty good to hit a good solid 5 wood swing. I find 5 wood is all about setup. Yeah, there you go, there's the slip in the hand, so I had to swap it out. I put a tee in, but I didn't hit many drivers here today just because of that glove issue. Sorry, I was saying about 5-wood setup. If your setup is strong, it's so much easier to hit a 5-wood. You know, so you'll see the legs get pretty straight at rest. There's a little flex, but it's a tall setup, allowing full shoulder turn. If you're not turning your shoulders, just forget about making decent contact with your fairway legs. It's a scary concept, but you've got to turn. And then just to add a bit of variety at the end of the session, just a couple of punch shots. Sorry, KLGCC. We're hitting into your netting, but that ball's traveling at an angle, so it shouldn't be too damaging. And again, we're just aiming at some of those uprights and trying to punch, visually try to punch under some trees, keep the ball flight nice and low. And the reward, if you hit that pole, is it gets a nice ringing noise. Hit one driver there, nice looking swing. I felt good about that, and a lovely 7-wood to finish, and I was done.